Each of us has faced a power outage at least once. Most often, these are short-term interruptions lasting from several hours to a day, but sometimes they can be much longer and even catastrophic. Today, I want to share 20 items to stock up on in case of a winter power outage. Recall the massive blackout in the Northwest in 2003, which lasted about 4 days for some people. It affected 55 million people and led to about 100 deaths. Although it may not seem like much, it is important to remember that this happened in the height of summer, in August, and lasted only a few days. And now let's remember the snowfall in Texas, which I am sure we all remember. In 2021, neglect of Texas power grids combined with abnormally low temperatures led to power outages for over 2 weeks in some areas. This situation affected about 5 million people, but led to 500 to 700 deaths. That is, in scale, it was less significant than the shutdown in the Northwest, but the number of casualties turned out to be almost 4 times greater. This indicates that our power grid is becoming increasingly unreliable, and the situation will only worsen. With the transition to electricity, there will be additional strain on a grid that is already severely strained and barely coping with its existing capacity. This means that the likelihood of power outages is not just possible, but quite probable in the future. When the temperature drops, our main task during a power outage becomes maintaining body temperature. This is the most important aspect of survival in an outage. But there are several ways to retain warmth. The first is to insulate your home. You can use thermal curtains that hold heat, seal doors and windows, and lay thick carpets to prevent cold air from entering through the floor. I know this from personal experience. We have wooden floors in our house. These measures can significantly help control heat loss. In particularly cold conditions, it makes sense to insulate one room to save heat. It can be more practical and economical. Choose a room with few windows and doors, as drafts usually occur there. Use blankets and film to protect the windows, if available, and close all possible sources of drafts. This room can become a temporary refuge during the blackout, providing safety for you and your family. This way, you don't try to heat the whole house, but focus on keeping one room warm, which is much easier. Next, one should also take care of their own insulation by wearing layered and warm clothing. When the temperature drops, layered clothing helps retain your body heat and keeps you comfortable for as long as possible. Don't forget about the vulnerable areas, your head, hands, and feet. These areas are particularly exposed to the cold. Therefore, be sure to wear hats, protect your hands with gloves, and keep your legs warm with thick socks. Also, try to stay dry, as humidity significantly increases the risk of hypothermia. Keep spare blankets and sleeping bags for cold weather. The presence of extra blankets, especially wool ones, is crucial during winter power outages. Wool is a natural insulator and retains heat even when wet. We have several containers with old blankets that we have accumulated over the years, and they are intended for emergencies. Additionally, it is wise to invest in sleeping bags for cold weather, or bags designed for low temperatures for each family member. This will keep you warm even without heating. It's like heating one room instead of the whole house. Sleeping bags allow for warmth for one person, making them even more efficient. Wood stoves, fireplaces, kerosene heaters, and mister heaters can also be used. Buddy. Wood stoves and fireplaces are traditional options for heating a home, although not everyone has them. If you have such a heater, that's great, but otherwise, you'll need to look for other solutions. Portable kerosene heaters can also be an option, although there are more preferred models. Big Buddy heaters run on propane. They are compact and easy to use for small spaces. They are designed for portability and can be used both indoors and outdoors, provided there is proper ventilation. Buddy heaters are equipped with safety systems, making them safer than kerosene heaters during power outages, which is why they are popular among people preparing for unexpected situations. Now that we have discussed the important points, let's talk about preparing a power outage kit. The power outage kit will help you organize all the necessary supplies in one convenient place. Keep in mind that this is not a kit to include everything mentioned in this video, but only the most important items, such as spare batteries, flashlights, headlamps, hand-cranked radios, extension cords, and other items you will need when necessary. I have a video where I explain what I keep in my power outage kit. My kit includes flashlights, batteries, an inverter, extension cords, playing cards, and many other items. The contents of the kit are constantly updated. I will leave the link below, and you can familiarize yourself with this video and assemble a kit for turning off the electricity as you see fit. Now let's move on to backup power sources and batteries during a power outage. Backup power sources such as generators, portable power stations, extra batteries, and even solar panels, if possible, become essential. Portable power stations or even small battery packs can provide emergency power for lighting, charging mobile devices, and even small heaters. Some of these small battery packs are very useful during power outages, as they allow charging mobile devices and tablets that do not require a lot of energy. The ability to turn them on and use them for power can provide connectivity, access to emergency information, and a bit of entertainment. When it comes to larger appliances, portable power stations come to the rescue. There are many different models, such as Jackery and EcoFlow. These devices are convenient and have much greater power than small battery packs. Another option is to buy a 100 amp hour Life PO4 battery, along with an inverter. This will give you similar capabilities. However, there is one important note. The devices you can power with this battery will consume a lot of energy. Therefore, you will need to be able to recharge them during power outages, which means using solar panels, and that is not an option for everyone. Therefore, at the very least, make sure they are always fully charged, 100%, because the last thing you need is to find yourself in a power outage situation when your battery is down to 50%. It is also important to remember spare batteries for your handheld radios, radio stations, and everything else that requires batteries. Make sure you have them. Have rechargeable batteries on hand if you can recharge them, as well as regular batteries like Energizer or Duracell that may be needed for a flashlight and other devices. A larger option is a generator. There are several types of fuel generators: propane, gasoline, and solar energy. These generators can power almost any appliance in your home. If you plan to run a refrigerator to keep food from spoiling, you will need something much more powerful than small battery packs, and if you don't have the option to recharge with solar panels, gasoline may be the optimal choice. Now, when it comes to generators, one must consider the noise factor, which can be dangerous in such situations. If your generator is working and your neighbor's is not, and you are comfortably settled in your warm corner while your neighbor is freezing, he might come to you with questions upon hearing the noise of your generator. Before we continue, let's talk about inverters that can turn your car into a generator. In Texas, quite a few people have died from carbon monoxide poisoning when they sat in their cars and turned on the heater. If you have an inverter and an extension cord, you can use your car to generate electricity. You can connect an extension cord to the house, run a heater, or keep the refrigerator working for a while. And importantly, you will have a fuel supply that lasts much longer than a single 100 amp hour battery, as long as you have a fuel reserve and a full tank of gasoline. Now let's consider solutions for lighting. I can say that most people do not realize how dark it becomes until they face this fact without light. In the absence of regular electricity, we need alternative sources of light: flashlights, headlamps, candles, lamps, glow sticks. All these items will help us illuminate the space, navigate the house, and simply see each other during conversations. As I mentioned, many of these items can be stored in a power outage kit, but it is also worth placing them in strategically convenient locations throughout the house. If the light goes out while you are in the kitchen, basement, or bedroom, you won't want to wander in the dark searching for your flashlight or set. So it's better to keep them in nightstands, coffee tables, and cabinets for easier navigation in the dark. Candles are a popular choice for many. However, like many of these options during a power outage, they pose a fire risk. Therefore, like kerosene heaters, they require constant attention and safety should be considered. The lamps are also excellent, as they are autonomous and illuminate the entire area, unlike flashlights or headlamps that direct light to a single point. If you have a lamp on the kitchen table while the family is having dinner, it will be much more convenient than if several people have headlamps. Glow sticks are also often used in emergency preparedness communities and serve as a starter kit for the first 24 hours. However, they cannot illuminate the entire house. If we talk about a situation where a power outage may last 3 or 4 days, it should be noted that the environment can become dangerous. One should not light up the entire house. As mentioned, generators not only make noise but also attract attention with their light. If there is no lighting and heating in your area and your windows are glowing brightly, you may become a target. Therefore, glow sticks can become a safer source of light. Now that we have a supply of electricity and lighting sources, we need to think about how we will cook food in the event of a power outage that could last several days or more. Although food is not as critical as having water, we still don't want to be without food for too long. Therefore, it is important to think about how we will cook in situations when household appliances may not work. We should choose dishes that require minimal preparation. These can be canned goods, ready-to-cook meal kits, frozen foods, or any other easy-to-use products. When choosing cooking methods, one must also consider what fuel will be needed. If you live in a private house, most of them in the United States are equipped with propane gas grills. Some have an additional burner, and this is one of the best options for cooking during a power outage. It's important to have a propane supply. One should not forget about the cooking smells in an unsafe situation. If you decide to fry some juicy hamburgers, it will attract the attention of the entire neighborhood. However, gas grills can be used to boil water and prepare other dishes that do not emit strong odors. There are also solar ovens, which can be a good option. For example, an American solar oven. It can be placed in the yard, and it won't emit any smells. Animals do not touch it, and the dishes turn out excellent. If you have a solar oven in sunny weather, that's a good option too. Outside, you can use fire pits or camping stoves, but options for cooking indoors are more limited. There are Instafire stoves that use canned fuel and work quite efficiently. These devices cost just over $100, but they are very useful in such situations. A camping stove with sterno fuel can also be used indoors. There are also more compact alcohol stoves that can be used indoors, as well as butane gas stoves. However, if you are cooking inside, it's important to ensure good ventilation. Many of these devices are suitable for indoor use and do not pose a serious problem, but it is always useful to have a carbon monoxide detector nearby, especially when cooking indoors or heating a small room. This list is quite basic in general. In preparation, it is necessary to adapt it to your personal circumstances. Many items mentioned in this video you likely already have at home, so there is no need to spend large sums on them. Blankets, clothing, gloves, and similar items are usually available. However, when it comes to energy sources, costs can rise. If you are considering full generators or even small stations for electricity generation, I have a video that explores various alternatives to generators and power sources, as well as options that can be used to obtain additional energy. You may not be able to power the whole house, but even a little light or warmth can significantly change the situation. Don't forget to watch this video to understand what options you have and what can be done. I will end here for today. Take care and prepare. See you.